It's your soccer zombie, Tom Franklin here, getting rowdy with the Tampa Bay Rowdies and Ralph's Mob here. Can they live up to their name? Let's find out in another Away Day review. Hey, what's up? It's your soccer zombie, Tom Franklin here, back again with another Away Day vlog, continuing the USL tour, this time going down south. And when I say down south, I mean south of down south. We are in Florida, specifically beautiful Tampa Bay. As you can see right behind me here, it's a beautiful day here, about 90 degrees, no humidity, and the weather is absolutely perfect for some Tampa Bay Rowdies football. Got yappy dogs going right by me here. The vibes are already good here. We got Tampa Bay Rowdies today taking on Loudoun United. They are in the USL Championship. Rowdies having a very good season this year. Loudoun not as good. They play in, I'm going to say it, a baseball field, but it's no longer a baseball field. So very much like Forward Madison's situation, it is a converted baseball field. In fact, we'll just spin around. And there it is, Al Lang Stadium, right there along the bayfront. And you can see the old baseball grandstands here. They converted this place just for soccer. This has been the Rowdies' home for the past few years. I've heard a lot of good things about this place. I've heard the vibes are very good. The Rowdies are, well, rowdy. And they really lean into their heritage because the Rowdies are one of the oldest clubs in America. They have been around since the early to mid 1970s. And they still lean into their heritage and their retro vibe pretty heavily here. Even with their logo is not really changed from when they started. So Rowdies have been in many leagues. They have gone up and down, left and right. And it seems like they found a home now in the USL Championship. They've been a mainstay here in the championship for a few years. And looking forward to seeing Al Lang Stadium up front. I'll be field side for this one. And of course, this is an Away Day review, so that means I will be grading the stadium on the 4 categories you see there: stadium quality, game quality, value, and vibes. But I can say, just based on the weather and just based on the locale here, right along the bayfront of Tampa Bay, I'm liking this already. So let's go inside. I'm here with Brad of Ralph's Mob, working very hard before this game to get all the proper signage up here. So something I've been meaning to ask, because this is my first ever Tampa Bay Rowdies game. Who's Ralph?
We're like the second or third iteration of Ralph's Mob, but it dates back to the original 1970s crew. Some crazy fan became their wild mascot. If you look at the oldest logos, he's kind of wild. And they just kind of took that moniker on back in 2010 and developed their own logo from there, and it's stayed there ever since.
Describe the game day atmosphere here. I mean, is it a pretty good vibe here during games?
Yeah, we try to be welcoming to everybody and have a lot of fun with it. You know, we'll tease other fans if they're not singing, etc. like that. Some take offense, but it's all done in good jest, and you know, we're second division, so. You know, good tides rise all ships.
About how many do you draw per game? I think the seat's, what, 7,500, I think?
It's listed as 7,227, which is really just a secret code for our area code in St. Pete, which is 727. I don't think that's the exact number, but I think we're averaging around 5,000 to 6,000 this year.
So pretty good support over the years, and do you think that support's growing?
Yeah, the averages, I've been watching it in the last 10 years, they keep slowly inching up, and you know, a couple of playoff runs have certainly helped that when you get this totally packed out. you know, the place is really good. It's great atmosphere, and there's not a bad seat in the house, so it's perfect.
You got Loudoun United.
They beat us pretty handily early in the season. We've got a new coach in. He's kind of feeling it out, and my vibe the whole season, if we got a great team, we seem to do excellent, and we find a way to win. If it's a middling, mediocre team, and they come at us and punch us in the mouth, we tend to struggle.
In today's lesson, we will learn all about foreshadowing. Foreshadowing is a literary device in which a writer gives an advance hint of what is to come later in the story.
If it's a middling, mediocre team, we tend to struggle.
Hey, Penny, fist bump for YouTube. There we go. There we go. It's official. Obviously, vintage seats here at Al Lang Stadium. I'm guessing these might have, came with the stadium when they were originally built. Hanging out here before the game with Rob, taking a little breather here before the action starts. This is a very interesting stadium. I like it so far. What do you think?
Yeah, so it's an old baseball stadium. It was used for spring training mostly. And you can tell, but, the view here is awesome. They did go out to where the baseball field was and build some bleacher seats out there. But they didn't out there because you still want to be able to see the marina and see the boats. So I'm kind of glad this stadium was sitting here not doing anything. So why not put in a soccer stadium? We found out that the Tampa Bay Rays own the Rowdies. So I guess they own this stadium too because they had the baseball rights. So the Rays own the Rowdies. I'm not a fan of the Rays, but the Rowdies are cool. USL, man, USL is the best. Should this be my USL team, Tom?
Interesting.
That's the question.
You have a big following on your YouTube channel. You have a great Rolodex of travel videos. It's not just soccer. It's everywhere, basically.
Oh yeah. I love sports. I love soccer and baseball specifically.
Yeah.
I like to just travel and see stuff and do stuff. I've done a lot of stuff here. It's a lovely city. I recommend everyone come.
Another one.
Death, taxes, and Messi jerseys at games in America where Messi's not involved. Although this time, this is an Argentine kit, our first in our collection so far since I started doing away day reviews. So the running gag of this channel continues.
First ever Argentina Messi on this account. You spotted it, Rob. Credit where credit's due, man. I appreciate you, bud. And we're off. So we are kicked off here in Tampa. Loving the vibes here already. We are going to go away from the Rouse mob and the supporters section here for the first half. We're going to go on the side where the Rowdies are attacking and see what they can do in the first half. Like, seriously, just look at this. Like, I praise Tulsa for its downtown landscape, but then you got this, You got the old baseball grandstand over there that they've definitely rowdified, for lack of a better term. But then when you go over here, this beautiful bay. The man we spoke to earlier is right. This is like a primo location. Ah, another one so close. No goal. Ah, these fans are going to be so disappointed. It was offsides. Yep, they're just figuring that out. Oh, man. Heartbreak by the Bay. Literally the cheap seats. Attendance price $0. And wouldn't you know it, Loudoun gets their first real, honest-to-goodness, true chance and buries it 1-0. That is soccer. And you've seen it all half. That was Loudoun's first real chance at goal, and they convert. Rowdies had how many chances over here and didn't convert? That's soccer. Almost an instant reply. Halftime here at Al Lang. Loudoun going into halftime with a 1-0 lead. Perhaps a little fortunate as the Rowdies really controlled the ball in Loudoun's zone. Just could not find the back of the net except for the one that was called back. Loudoun converting on theirs. I think Rowdies fans might be a little disappointed going into this one. Kind of a tough one here in the first half. I mean, Rowdies had the ball in their end almost the whole way, and then Loudoun converts their one. Really tough way to go into halftime.
Yeah, but you know, if you notice most of the games, right, it's all made up in the last 20 minutes. So we've lost tremendously in the last 20 minutes. We've also won tremendously in the last 20 minutes. So, you know, like I said, 1-0, that's nothing. It's literally nothing. I've seen it come up 4 points. That much. So they're a good team, yeah, and so they'll give us a run for our money, but no, it's like I said, it's solid. I know we'll pull this off.
All right, it's halftime. As you can see, the sun has gone down. I'm not Corey Hart. I do not wear my sunglasses at night. Also, kids, if you don't know who Corey Hart is, he does not wear his shades at night, and he taught me to not mess around with a guy in shades no more. I'm not Corey Hart, clearly. If not now, when? Will it be the lefty or the righty? It's the righty! Oh, it brushed the net but didn't go in!
That's so cool.
'61st minute, a violent collision between an attacking Rowdy player trying to chase down the ball and the Loudoun goalkeeper. He's getting checked on right now, but as you saw, the Rowdy player just got a red card. So if the Rowdies are to make a comeback in this one, they're going to have to do it with 10 men. Yeah, kind of a tense moment there. Again, Loudoun has not had the run of play at all this game, and yet they are the ones that convert. So a 2-0 loss that was foreshadowed by Brad of Robb Zipp leads us to our away day review, and I'm going to do my best to keep this a bit more succinct as this video is running long already. And one of the reasons for that is Al Lang Stadium itself. Look, this place kind of surprised me. If you've been following my away day reviews, you know I'm not a fan of soccer games at baseball stadiums, but if you watched my Forward Madison review, I did make an exception for their stadium because it is a fully converted baseball stadium, same with Al Lang. This is considered an upper deck seat. This is one of the cheaper seats, you know, in the entire stadium. There is absolutely nothing wrong with this view. It's high enough to where you get a tactical view, but then it's also low enough to where you feel the vibe. Like Robb Zipp and the supporters section, they're all right there. They've done a great job in retrofitting this, and yes, keeping that beautiful view out there. My goodness. Louisville's river view is great. I'm sorry, but the Rowdies is tough to beat here. I mean, look at this. You definitely see the shell of what used to be a baseball stadium in the main grandstand itself, which hugs around one of the corners where home plate used to be. That means the concourses felt very much like a baseball stadium, but they were pretty wide and clean, and I had no issues moving around. There was plenty of restrooms and different concession options, and I spent a lot of my time just walking around and imagining what spring training baseball here in the 70s looked like. Not a bad thing at all. I'm a sucker for nostalgia. Rob, what do you think so far?
So this is one of the coolest no smoking signs I've ever seen.
Red card, I love it.
I'd argue it's the best setting out of any place I've been to so far on my lower league journey, and good luck topping it, honestly. And most importantly, Rowdies fans seem to really like it here.
It's a perfect stadium. There's not a bad seat.
I don't think there's a better stadium in the country. I mean,
really?
I have literally sat in every seat, in every section, and it's always a good seat. So you get a lot for the value.
it's rough around the edges. It's got a lot of issues. There's things to do. They have certainly fixed it up. The first couple of years here were absolutely brutal.
You got the bay right behind. You got yachts. You know, you got the pier. It's absolutely such a nice place.
We're on Beach Drive in St. Pete. When you're done, you can go to the pier and walk past the yacht club. There's no stadium that can beat that. If you turn around, you just look over there. There's the bay. There's the yachts just sitting there. The sun's setting on it. I challenge any stadium that has that.
And it holds just enough people where it's crowded, but it's not overcrowded where you feel like a cattle.
All in all, the Rowdies have definitely made this place their own. I like this place a bit better than Forward Madison's Breeze Stevens because it does feel less claustrophobic, but it does lose a 1.5 points because it is an older venue and it shows its age in spots. Still a very solid venue. I'm giving Al Lang Stadium an 8.5. Game quality. Now, this is one I can hit up real quick because you saw how the game went already. It was a frustrating game for Rowdies fans because their team treated scoring goals like it was the hardest calculus test you ever took. They just couldn't buy a goal, and then they allowed Loudoun United to score 2 goals completely against the run of play. It was also a pretty rough game as well, with a lot of fouls and whistles. You could tell these were 2 teams that did have quality players on them, and there was creative ball movement. The Rowdies did have their chances, but honestly, I was really disappointed in the Rowdies' inability to finish. They came into this game 3rd in the Eastern Conference and didn't live up to their billing. It happens, it's soccer, and as Brad warns us, Loudoun has the Rowdies' number for whatever reason. But I actually found the Tampa Bay Sun women's game a bit more entertaining and dramatic, and I gave that a 6.5, so with that in mind, I'm giving the game quality for this one a 6. Am I being too harsh or too generous? I feel you can make the argument for either, so let me know in the comments below. And now we're on to value, and of course that includes a review of the team store. Tampa Bay Sun, take notes here. Yes, the Rowdies' main team store is in a tent, but it's a roomy tent that's laid out, has air flowing through it, and I don't feel like I'm being rushed through by a stream of fans behind me. I like the retro vibe of their jerseys, and at 80 bucks, it feels pretty fair, especially when compared to 100 bucks for the Suns jersey made by a brand that I've never heard of. Rowdies jerseys are Pumas, by the way. Plenty of hats available as well as other shirts. Again, love the retro theme of the Rowdies, some of the cleanest looks in lower league footy. They also had pins, stickers, and even these old buttons.
And if you want some truly vintage and retro stuff here, like these buttons are actually like old. Like, Rob, how did they tell you how old these buttons are?
Well, they're from the old NASL days that started in '75. I think this was probably towards the end in the early '80s. I'm not exactly sure.
No.
But it is definitely new old stock.
But you know what? For $3,
40 years old.
I mean, $3 for something straight out of the '80s. That's my jam right there.
For $3, I got one along with a $7 pin and this absolutely banger retro summer scarf for 25 bucks. Concessions were pretty reasonable. They had plenty of affordable options, which every team should have. Drink prices were a bit on the high side, but they had a pregame special where you can get Bud Lights for $5 for the tall aluminum cans. And speaking of Rob's video, you can check out my review on this amazing cookie from Cookie Fueled Mama. Tickets were reasonable as well. In fact, this is a side-by-side comparison of Rowdies tickets for the same day as these Tampa Bay Rays baseball tickets at Tropicana Field just down the street. The Rowdies are a bit cheaper, and having been to the Trop twice, I can say with full confidence that the Rowdies are a much better experience. And parking isn't much of a challenge with lots of street parking nearby as well as parking lots as well. So the value for the most part is pretty much on par with what I'd expect at this point. Nothing outrageous, nothing really great outside of the $5 Bud Lights, which, depending on your opinion of Bud Light, is either a great deal or a terrible deal, but the cheap pregame beer bumps up a baseline 7 to a 7.5. And now on to the vibes, and I have to say I really dug the vibe here at the Rowdies game. Part of it was the setting itself. The weather's nice, the place just felt like you were in Florida, and people at the game were having a great time despite their team playing like it hasn't scored a goal since the Obama administration. Robb Zipp definitely has a supporters group that brought the energy the whole way through. This lady in the tall capo stand was hyped the whole game and quite frankly brave, because this capo stand is very tall and I don't do heights well. But this does look like a supporters group that has been intact for some time in one way or another. It looks like a very solid group. At the same time, a very welcoming place if you're not a fan of the Rowdies necessarily. People were very friendly and very excited to be there and support their club, and what more can you ask? And other fans were engaged in the game as well and even started their own chants at times, as you heard a few minutes earlier in this video. You've heard the expression, you had to be there. Well, that kind of applies to this rating. It felt good to be there. And if you've been to Florida on vacation, you might know what I'm talking about. That applies here as well. But the setting and the fans combined to make it a really good time. If the Rowdies had scored, maybe the vibes could have gone higher than this 8.5. Still, very fun. So the Rowdies get a very solid 30.5 out of 40, putting it right in the middle of the away day review standings. Now this could definitely have been higher had the Rowdies themselves played better. I could have seen this challenging Louisville, honestly. Definitely a similar vibe to Forward Madison from the former baseball stadium to the vibes. Even Madison has a tropical vibe to it.
So rough one for the Rowdies tonight, falling 2-0 to Loudoun United in a game that they probably thought they could have won, honestly, but we were warned. Loudoun United typically plays the Rowdies pretty tough, and that's no exception here tonight, although I think this one was just more about lost opportunities for the Rowdies than anything. You usually don't have a problem putting the ball in the back of the net, but sometimes you just get snake bitten like that. But regardless, had a fun time here at Al Lang Stadium. It's a good vibe here. The weather cooperated. Vibes were good. The Rouse Mob, these boys right over here, like they were vibing the whole game. Good sized supporter section for a club at this level with some really dedicated fans. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this review, please make sure to like and subscribe for more. I'm actually doing my 2 Tampa games out of order this weekend. I'm actually going to release the Tampa Bay Sun game first. So by the time you're watching this, the Sun video is already going to be out. The Rowdies, this will be released later in the week. And of course, if you like this video, please consider joining the supporter section. It's just 99 cents a month. Helps get me to games like this. This is your soccer zombie, Tom Franklin, and I just spent all that time talking about the Tampa Bay Sun, and the video's right up here. Like, just click on it. Like, I sold it for you already. It's just gotta left click it right there, right there.